All right. Just wanted to update everybody on what is going on with the house renovation. As you can see, I have replaced the skirting using boards, panels for fencing. And I did that to save money because these panels are kind of expensive. And, they run anywhere from $30 roughly up to $70 per panel, although they come out a little bit further. But it would cost probably about $500 to $700 to do the whole house. By recycling the old ones that were still salvageable and using fence panels, I was able to get the cost under $100 to do the entire house. So savings of about $500. You can see what the old panels look like. They were all like broken and hodgepodge of different lattice works and that really nasty green plastic wire mesh thingy. So it looked really bad. I think it looks a lot cleaner now. Still need to finish the corners, but for the most part, I did the whole backside. I left some of the old green ones in on purpose because they have holes in them, so that will allow air to ventilate underneath the house. That way it doesn't become really musky under there. So these, if they end up going bad, I'll have to replace. But it was what I was able to salvage and let it ventilate out. Something of note, if you end up doing something similar to me here with these boards, is I found out as I was laying it out that evidently they level the house, but the ground underneath the house is not level. So you can see over there it used 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half panels. And here we were up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels. And then over here up to 6 panels. So over here on this side here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see the spacing underneath the house. Actually, it's bigger on this end, taller on this end than that end. So there's a slope here in the yard. And what that means is the proper way to put the panels in so it looks nice isn't to do what I did. I was working from the bottom up. You should work from the top down. Then when you get to the bottom, then you can dig a hole, whatever, and put the bottom piece in and make it look nice. So live and learn. I did it, and you can see here how the slope is lopsided. So, what I'm talking about is here. See the edge here? And it gets narrower and narrower and narrower. So it makes the baseboard, the skirting, look kind of funky. But at this stage, I don't care. I'm going to be painting it anyways. I know some people were saying that making it out of the fence boards is setting up for it to rot. And it's true because it's wood. Wood will tend to rot. But it is fence board. Normally this is stuff that you buy to make a fence. And I don't know how, I guess a typical fence might last like 10, 15 years or more. And what I'm planning on doing with these is painting it. So that might make it last even longer. And because it's going horizontally, the only piece that's really touching the ground that will soak up moisture from the ground pretty much are the bottom pieces, and they might rot. So we'll see how long it takes. But if I have to replace it, more than likely I only have to replace, hopefully, just the bottom portion. So it's about like $2 per segment, So instead of replacing the whole thing, which is about $10 to $12, I only have to put in $2 to replace the bottom panel when they rot, if they rot. I mean, they probably will, because the old lattice work, that's all wood, and that was rotting and still kind of semi-rotted. But I'm using it anyways. I'm gonna paint it all, and hopefully the paint will kind of hold everything together. And if it needs to be replaced, I'll deal with it at that point. But I definitely, I don't like the way it looks kind of uneven like this with the slotted and then not slotted, but I think it's kind of crucial to ventilate underneath the house. That way it doesn't get all musky and moldy underneath the house. So it should stay dry under the house. The idea was to keep all the animals out. Now, my wife has concerns about snakes, and they could potentially get in through these holes. See, these guys here have holes that they might be able to crawl through. So I may have to put up netting, like mosquito netting, on top of it. Normally people put it behind it to make it look nice, which I could take it apart and redo, but I just put it on front, because that stuff would have to be replaced every so often also. But for now, we'll do it like this and see if, the wife says anything. If she has a problem with it, I'll put mosquito netting to seal the holes, to try to keep snakes from going under the house. But I don't think snakes will go under the house, but they might. You never know. This is Florida. So you can see I did the whole thing. And then you'll see several sections where I have solid pieces of wood, and I only put like 2 screws to hold them in. Those are access panels. Over here, I have access for, eventually I may install solar power to come into the house through this side. So that has access, so I can get under there. And then this is access to like the plumbing, where the water and the sewage and all that go out. So I can remove it with 2 screws, and then, you can crawl up underneath there. But it's pretty nasty under there. This house was built in 1967, so it's like 1 year younger than me. Surprisingly still standing and still usable. So, some people were saying, why don't go ahead and spend the money and make it really nice, get something that is designed for the skirting. The reason is money. The house is old. It's 56 years old, and it looks old. I'm not going to spend $1,000 or $2,000 to put skirting on the house, because the rest of it looks bad still. But what I am going to do, I'm willing to spend, $100 or so for the skirting, and then another 100 or so, maybe 150 for paint. And so for about $300, less than $300, I'm going to be painting the house and the little shed there to make it look nicer. So it'll look a bit newer, not so much newer, but brighter and all one color, So thinking of making it yellow and white. The concern is the mold seems to grow a lot on these mobile homes. So you can see here some of the old mold. I try to clean it with bleach. I may try another round of bleach and scrubbing, but I don't think it's going to come off, and I'll probably just paint right over it. But even the neighbor's house, which is kind of newer, they put siding on it. I think they renovated it about 2 years ago, right before I moved in. But you can see it's okay looking here, but I don't know if you see the distance here from the side of the house. The back side there has all that mold and stuff already forming on it. So they got like vinyl siding, and that stuff is on it, making it look nasty. So you probably have to spray it and clean it every 6 months or every year or something. So regardless of what you do, you're going to get that mold. The fact that there was mold back here before means that, this side, which doesn't get as much sun, the back side here, because it had all the trees and stuff back here, will probably mold up. I am going to kind of monitor it once I get it painted and everything, and then maybe spray it down once a year, or paint the house every couple years as needed, and then fix any rotted wood. So that's where we're at right now. Mostly done. And you can see what the side looks like here. I am you can see more of the mold here, but I See these lizards bother my wife also. And they're not. I think my daughter says they're called anoles. They're not lizards. They're called anoles. They're all over the place, and those were the things that laid the eggs in the walls. So may have to put up mosquito netting to try to keep them out from going under there and into the house. But you can see the front has this will have to be fixed later, but it has solid metal, and you know, you really need to have some ventilation, but I guess they had the front like that to make it look nice, although there's a piece missing here. But I'm going to go ahead and take all this, the green plastic netting off, and then fix all this as well, and get rid of the mold there. And then we're going to go ahead and paint the whole house a nice bright yellow and white, yellow with white accent is what the plan. Oh crap! I stepped on my papaya. I was working out here, and I must have hit the papaya and killed it. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna survive. It broke. We have several here, but that one was pretty big and strong, and now it's broke. I don't know if it's gonna go back together by me just pushing it back up. I must have hit it or stepped on it or hit it with a piece of wood or something, because I was working back here and ended up killing it. Poor thing. Probably dead. But we got several others here, you know. It's like we almost have a papaya farm. There's one there that's about to die because it broke. And then there's several here, several here, several more here, and one here that looks like it broke. And then another one, several. And a little one over there. And also the front of the house has some. You might be wondering why so many papayas. These are from like 1 or 2 papaya fruits that I bought. And then I, planted the seeds. And the reason is we're going to be eating a lot of papaya salad. And I'm thinking of actually using papaya as pasta. So I might make spaghetti and stuff with it. Or noodles, and see how that all works out. Like fry instead of lo mein, fried papaya. Lo mein. We'll see how it tastes and whether or not it's doable. But the plan is to try to grow as much of our own food as we can, to save money, but also to know exactly what we're eating. Because half the time you can't tell from the stuff you buy in the store anymore what it actually is. But you can see I still got a mess to clean up. Got this netting that I have to get rid of. I had brought all these pallets that I haven't used. I was going to use them for that, out of pallets, but then I decided they were too short and it would take me too long. You have to pull them all out and see how they're all cracked and broken, and it would not look as nice. It was better to spend $2 per panel, $1.86, $1.76, whatever it was, per panel. I went ahead and spent the money so they all look better, but even then, some of them are warped and there's gaps and stuff, and it's okay. It's not a big deal. These I'll be tossing out. See how they're all broken. This is what was pulled out. Broken and patched and, falling apart. I might save a couple pieces to patch things, if they need to be replaced. If I can cut it out. But a lot of it's going to have to be tossed because it's all pretty bad. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts. And I hope you found this video useful. I guess we're going to do a running experiment to see how long it lasts and how good or bad it looks. So stay tuned.